Quite often you'll hear somebody on TV or maybe talking to your broker saying that they would never, ever consider an annuity. Let's take a quick look at both fact and some of the myth that's out there. Among the myths or deceptions that are out there, you'll hear people say they'll lose money. You'll never get any money out of it. The interest is too low, or you never have any control over it. The fees are too high, and that list goes on and on and on. The fact is, the truth is really, that nobody has ever lost money. They've been around for over 2,000 years. Nobody has lost any money with an annuity. As far as getting your money out, it's your money. Make a phone call, take it all out, part of it, whatever. It's your money. The interest being too low compared to what? A bank CD where you've got less than 1% and you're actually losing purchasing power because of the inflation? Or compared to a high-risk bond or a high-risk stock, that you can lose 100%. As far as control, you have numerous ways to make changes within the policy. The fees being too high, on a fixed annuity, there is zero fee, period. Zero fee. On a variable annuity, a variable annuity is a mutual fund wrapped inside of an insurance policy. That's all it is. And you've got all of your 12B1 fees, your fees that are taken out long before you ever get anything in the return. And so, of course, you can lose money on variable annuities. That's not a fixed annuity. I'm sure that you have, as I have also, heard people say that they would never ever want an annuity. But by the same token, have you ever heard those same people say they don't want their Social Security, pensions, winnings from the lottery, or God forbid they should ever win the $5,000 a week forever for Publishers Clearinghouse? Ladies and gentlemen, those are all annuities. Very basic annuities. The number one reason, the main reason people purchase an annuity is for their safety. As many people have said before, never lose your principal and at all costs protect your principal. Annuities are insurance. They insure your money, much like you'd have a house or car insurance insuring them. The loss of your house or car or money, which one's going to affect you most? The money. You can always replace a house or a car, just go down to the store. You can't do that with your money unless it is protected. So which one would affect you the most? Obviously, the money. That's what we are here to do, protect your money. Of all of the benefits of the annuities, we're going to set those aside for a moment. What I want to talk about real quickly is digressing into your spending of all things. This is what it's all about, is spending money for your benefit. And within your spending, you have two items, essential and discretionary. The essential is your house payment, food, shelter, things of that nature. Discretionary is the cruise, going up north, visit the grandkids. You don't have to visit the grandkids, but you do have to pay your house payment, your utility payments. These things must be met. And this is where the annuities will come in so valuable. They ensure that that money is there forever. I cannot stress the importance of the essentials being met during your retirement planning. Funds need to be set aside, preferably with an annuity. Social Security and pensions, they alone may not be adequate. We're talking about income replacement. Annuities can provide that extra for the essential expenses. We can get an annuity, put a lifetime income rider on it, and you will always have sufficient money. That gives you the peace of mind to retain and maintain your lifestyle. Income replacement seems like a trivial item, but our retirement, our lifestyle, everything revolves around cash flow. We need to maintain a proper income so as to provide our essentials and our discretionaries. We do not want to wind up working at local big blue boxes, shall we say, or the grocery store as a stocker. That is not where you really want to work as a senior. It's good to occupy your time, but for income, it's not going to work. Now, discretionary spending, this is where all the fun is. And you don't ever have to say to your wife, we can't afford it. That won't make her happy at all. The annuities will provide the enjoyment for your retirement, whether it be golfing, cruising to the Caribbean, just having fun, or just enjoying the total relaxation of being with the person that you've loved for so many years. This is what discretionary spending is for. Creating and enjoying your lifestyle that you've been accustomed to for so many years. The funding of your retirement is pretty much traditional, using the 60-40 split, that being 60% into stock and the balance of it being in a more conservative areas. So, that's the security, safety, stable area as opposed to the stocks. The stocks will give you higher long-term growth. If you're looking at, long-term, that's fine. You could weather out quite often the dips and the downturns of the market. The 2000, 2008, those were horrific areas. There's no question about it. Your conservative areas would have balanced that out a little bit. But again, they are subject to the market volatility. Now, contrast, if you are looking at mutual funds as opposed to individual stocks, or the new ETFs, electronically traded funds, you might want to reconsider and take a real strong look at index annuities. The ETFs are designed essentially after the index annuities. It's an index, but you don't have any market exposure to it. Whereas ETF, you will. You're going to find a lot more stability, generally a lot more growth, and no losses with an index annuity as compared to a ETF type of fund. Mutual funds, what can I say? That NBC a number of years ago did a survey. 40% of the top funds in all across the segment were the same because they've got to provide growth. And the bottom last, that provides a little bit of safety. You can do that as opposed to mutual funds. You can buy the index annuities, get your market gains, and keep them. Now, the 40%, that is your conservative area. It's more essential to meet your essential needs. Often bonds are spoken of as making up, stocks and bonds type of thing. But bonds are unique in that as the interest rate goes up, the value of the bond goes down. It has an inverse relationship to stocks. Why not go to an annuity? It doesn't matter what the stocks do. It doesn't matter what the market does. The annuities give you that safety where bonds can create some real problems. And if you want to get rid of a bond, you've got to sell it. What's the market value of that bond you bought? Is it higher or lower? You got a potential of a loss there. So be a little more, investigative, if you will, to see what options are out there. There are better options than the bonds. This is where we get into some word games. Many of the people will say, for example, on TV that if you die, you'll lose all of your money. Well, maybe, maybe not. The definition of an annuity is a steady stream of payments. Annuity. That's derived from the Roman word AUM, which later became annual, and then the word annuity. The first recorded annuity was in the year 246 AD. They've been around for a long time. So the term annuitization, that means the starting of the payments. I'm going to annuitize my annuity, meaning you're going to start the payments. Or the term annuitized, ED, meaning you've already set it up. Once it's set up, it's going to follow whatever path you've taken. Here's where a lot of the critics can say a person has annuitized their annuity, they died, and they lost all of their money. That is correct. Look at your Social Security. If you annuitize it when you turn 65 or 66, you start that steady stream of payments. You have money in that Social Security. If you die, it stops, period. In that play on words, yes, it is correct. But there's a way to get around it. And that is what we protect our clients with. As you start taking monies out of the annuity, there are a number of ways that you can do it. Annuitization, that is a definite legal step. You do the life, which you have to do with the Social Security. You have no options there. And I do not recommend it at all, because the moment you die, whatever money's in there are lost. From there, you can go to the life with a term, life in 5 years or 10 years or 15, whatever. And what will happen there is that if you die early, the rest of that money that's in the annuity will be paid out over that period of years, or a term of years. You have, for example, $100,000, you want it 10 years. 10 years divided into the 100,000 means that you'll get 10,000 per year. You get all of your money back. Another option is a systematic withdrawal. Payments made to you either on a monthly, quarterly, biannual, or annual basis. This way you can have it going directly into your checking account or sent wherever you want it to. That makes no difference. Or if you just got your annuity sitting there and you want $5,000 to go on a big cruise, make a phone call. That's all it takes, a phone call, and they'll send you a check. You can take it all out with a phone call, or you can do a whole, just a $5,000 for your cruise. It's your option. It's your money. You're in control. And anything left over in the annuities as a death benefit, of course, that goes to the beneficiaries that you have directed. Now, regarding that myth that you can lose money in the annuities, first of all, annuities are a legal contract to perform per the terms of the contract. They've been upheld by the Supreme Court of the state of Florida. Other investments such as your mutual funds, your stocks or whatever, they are very upfront, very prominently say with a very, very fine print that you may lose your principal. That is not good. It's a market risk. We refer to it as the market casino. The insurance companies, they are required by the state to have sufficient funds for every policyholder that if they all file a claim at the same time, they are able to pay those claims. Secondly, the states also have a fund set up, it's like the uninsured motorist type of thing. You're guaranteed, or FDIC, that in the event of the failure of a company, you still have $300,000 in the state of Florida guaranteed by the state. That is beyond the requirements of the state to have all funds. Even during the Depression of '29, no annuities lost money. They are that safe. And if you look on your mutual funds, etc., you may lose the principal. You look at a brochure or a contract with the annuities, it says, "We guarantee." Very strong words. I'm sure you have probably heard the fact, not a fact, the claim that you have no control over your money when it's in an annuity. On the contrary, you've got several options to you. And again, keep in mind, first and foremost, it is your money. You can take it out with a phone call at any time. The policy is usually set up, it's a contract for 2 to 14, 12 years, whatever. Here in the state of Florida, there is a maximum of 10 years for persons over age 65. With the annuities, again, you can change the allocation. If one market, the S&P, for example, you want to do a different sector, you can do that within the index annuities, but you'll never lose it. You never have a negative interest. You may possibly have a zero interest, which always is better than a negative interest. But you've got control. You'll need to sit down and take a look at all what is available to you. We can do that for you. Now, with the respect to interest rate, it's that risk and reward concept. The more you have at risk, the higher the reward, or conversely, the greater the loss can be. When you get into the stock market, the most that you can lose is 100% of what you put in. Going with the annuities, you don't have that problem. You'll possibly have a slightly lower return, but you'll never lose a dime. So, what is more important? A high return where you can possibly lose everything? 2008, where 2008 there was a 54% return. People are still suffering from getting back on that because they've gone into a little more conservative finally, and they're still taking years to regain. That's time is lost. Time is money. A high return, it's gone, can be gone after a market decline, and it's going to take you years to get it back. With the annuities, we don't face that problem. A good selection of growth stock will get a higher return. That's why we recommend that 60-40 rule. The longer term you've got, the greater return on the stock side, but keep enough on the safe side to where you can meet your essentials and your discretionary. Annuities, basically index annuities, they're kind of like a mutual fund with respect to their returns. We right now are currently experiencing some double-digit returns on an annuities. And once that interest is credited, it stays there. It never leaves. The mutual fund, you can lose it again. The idea of the annuity, number one reason, safety. Bank CDs, I'm sorry, but they are a joke. With a 30-year average of 3% inflation, if you are earning less than 3%, less than 1% on a bank CD, your purchasing power is going down each and every year you hold a bank CD. There is no reason that anybody should ever have a bank CD. Then also you got the idea of the aging. When you are 45, 35, 55, you've got 10, 20, maybe 30 years for your stocks to recover and grow. If you are 65 or 70 and you don't have those 30 years, that's why you want to start moving things more conservatively as we get older. We have lost that time factor that has helped us in the past. It's no longer there. So to recap, what is an annuity? It's a long-term contract, an incredibly safe, secure place for your monies to just sit there and grow, nothing more. Ideally for those who are age 50 and over, as they're approaching retirement. Someone under 50, I don't necessarily recommend that they do or utilize annuities other than maybe for that 40% if they want to get something besides the bonds. And they also, annuities provide a tax-deferred growth. Quite similar to your IRA without the restrictions. You can put in as much as you want per year. You can leave it there, and you don't have to take it out. You never are required to take it out, period. And it's an excellent item for your tax planning. All of the growth, which is taxable like it would be in an IRA, you do not get a 1099 until you decide to take any monies out. Anything that comes out first would be your interest, and that'll be taxable at your current rate, whatever it might be. They're also, for charity, tax planning. If you have a tremendous growth in there and you want to do a charitable purpose, there's no growth, correction, there's no taxes during the growth. You control the money if you want to get into it. And at some point in the future, you decide, I have no children, I have this or that, I would like to give it to a XYZ charity. Just put them down as a beneficiary. Upon your passing, it goes to them uncontested. It is very private. There are only two parties to an annuity. You, of course, and the company that you have purchased it from. Your beneficiaries are not aware of it. The government is not aware of it. There is no reporting except from the company to you. You can keep it as private as you wish. You want to do it as a benefit to a child or some person that the rest of your family may not care to share their inheritance with, you can do it with the annuities. It goes to them uncontested. It will go through court because you have a designated beneficiary. Incredibly effective. And, this is but just a simple list. There's many other benefits to the annuity. So far, we've discussed basically what is an annuity. The annuities will be provided or come in two particular styles, a fixed or a variable format. I only recommend the fixed type because of the safety. They come in variable designs and to meet your particular goals. The variable annuity, by contrast, is one that's sold by your broker. They provide him with the residual income that he receives, called your expenses. But bottom line is they are mutual funds. They're called by different names. They are sold instead of shares, they're sold in units. Bottom line, it's the same thing. The account value, like your mutual funds, will vary depending upon the underlying performance of the fund. Generally, there is a minimum fee of 1.5%. That's kind of a standard for M&E, mortality and expenses. We've mentioned the expenses being the residual income for your broker. On the TV, radio, wherever, you'll hear the phrase, the fees are too high. That is a variable annuity, not a fixed annuity. Now, if the account is down, the account value has dropped, which I have seen, at your death, the highest amount reached by that annuity will be paid as a death benefit. The mortality, the M&E, the mortality charge is being used to buy term insurance against your life, meaning each and every year they purchase a term policy for your death. And that ensures the gross amount that your annuity has ever reached. And that difference being that insurance amount, that's from the account value at whatever time it is at death until the time that you die. If the account value is high, you're fine. You'll get all of the money. But if the account value is lower, that M&E is going to buy the difference between the account value and the highest point of the evaluation as a term insurance on your life. That's basically how they work. I've sold them. I've done well with them, but I got to the point where I don't like them anymore. I want the safety and guarantees. That is only provided by my fixed annuities. Now with the fixed annuities, they are very basic, very easy to understand, and there are some variations on that. Bottom line is that any interest that you ever receive is always credited to the account and it never goes away. At the end of the term, you have a 2-year contract, a 5-year contract, 10-year contract, doesn't matter. At the end of that term, with the contract and the company, you can walk away with your money, you can roll it over, do whatever you want to with it. It's there for you to do with as you please. The basic tax-deferred annuity, the most simplest of them all. Much like the bank CD, you put your money in for a certain amount of time at a certain interest rate, and at the end of that time, you can do with it whatever you want to do. No difference, except for the interest rate. Bank CDs are a joke, and you can get 3.5 or better on a tax deferred right now. Immediate annuities. You have one or two already. One is your Social Security and a pension. Social Security is a lifetime immediate annuity. As soon as you turn 65 or whatever and begin your income, as long as you are alive, you will receive that income, whether it be 2 months or 20 years. If you die after 2 months, that money is gone. By contrast to pension, the HR department in your company will require you to make a written decision that you want the pension to be paid to you individually or jointly. The jointly gives a residual income for your wife or spouse or whomever, so that they have sufficient income based upon the pension itself. If you do a single individual, if you die, like on a Social Security, any monies that would have been left in the pension are gone. It's that simple. The index annuity. This is what is drawing the great attention and has been highly imitated by the stock market, shall we say. And it's annuity giving you a higher return. We're currently receiving on some annuities a double-digit return. The most common index. They are based upon indexes. They're not invested in the index, but it is based upon the performance of the index. Normally the S&P 500, Russell 2000, and so on. All of the gains that you keep, they are never lost, and you can also add what's called an income rider, which will be discussed in another video. The concept of this index annuity has been adopted by the market, creating your ETFs for different sectors, financial, oil, transportation, whatever. The problem there is if you have, as we saw in the early February of 2018, the stock market dropped thousands of points. That's all computer traded ETFs. One says we need to sell, another one says we need to sell too, and the market falls. Very human input into the trading of them. And then also have the sector. If you are choosing banking or healthcare and those two drop, you've chosen the wrong sector and you will lose. Unlike the index annuity, if you do a 500, that's a balanced 500 different companies over the period of a year. That is the benchmark for all gains. So with the ETFs, if you choose an ETF, just hope you get the right one. That's all it amounts to. Or you can lose. It's that simple. I hope that the video has helped answer some of the questions, clarify some of the questions you may have had about annuities. If you do still have some questions, please give us a call, contact us, whatever. We can be reached at the phone numbers you see listed, or email us at info@goodrumfinancial.com. We're also on the internet at goodrumfinancial.com or Facebook, Goodrum Financial. We're located here in Central Florida. We, of course, being in Florida, we've got clients that are from other states. So, the state location is really not a problem. And my name again is Richard Goodrum. I am a RICP, which is Retirement Income Certified Professional. It's a certification received from the American College of Financial Services out of Brownmeyer, Pennsylvania. You're more than welcome to check them out. And if you have any questions, again, get with us. We'll take care of you.